Queen Vic.
Hello, and welcome to You Only Live Once, the show that takes a person's life and looks at the highs, the lows, and some of the dodgy bits in the middle. My guest tonight has squeezed an amazing number of highs and lows into the underwired bra of life.
Everything I go about with any old guy, make a play for any fella, well that's a lie. I'm not that sort of a girl, I'm not that kind of a girl, I'm not that type of a girl for nobody.
It's the one and only Barbara Windsor. Have a good one. Sit yourself down. Get yourself comfortable. It's exciting. I know. Oh. You were born in 1937 as Barbara Ann Deeks, is that
Yes.
right? And you were 2 when the war broke out.
Yeah, right.
And you were evacuated. Was that a strange experience?
Oh, they were lovely, Ernest and Florence and all. They're absolutely fantastic. And then I always remember this one night when it was just Florence, Mary and me, and coming down the street. And as I came down the street, there was a shelter, and there was a bus came along, and the headlights went, and it showed on this shelter, and there was a couple there, you know, really getting up to, well, everything. And I went, oh, hello, Uncle Ernest. Oh, look, Auntie Flo. Oh, look, it's Uncle Ernest. And as I said it, I knew I'd done wrong.
So you showed your gratitude by splitting them up, basically. In 1950, you went to the Ada Foster Stage School, didn't you?
Yeah.
And I think we've got a picture of you. There you are in the front row, next to the young Anne Widdecombe, I think. There.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I saw some of them the other day. She don't look like nothing like that, Marlene, anymore.
Well, I'm not surprised. It is 1950, isn't it? And we've also got a picture of you dressed as a copper in an early version of the Sweeney.
I was about 10 there. That's when I was at Madame Behenna's Juvenile Jollities, and a guy came in, a talent scout called Brian Mickey, and he went up to this Madame Behenna and said, the little short fat one on the end of the line, I think she's got something. I'd like to meet her mother. My mother was appalled.
Yeah.
My daughter go on the stage, no. And out of nowhere, she said to this man, my bab, she's going to be a foreign language to Leffinies. I don't want her going on the stage. And I think that's only because I said I'd taken, you know, done a couple of French lessons there. Well, you know what kind of French lessons I mean. You know.
Your conduct wasn't so good. We've got a copy of your report here, and it says, conduct not satisfactory. What were you doing?
Where did you get that from? I can't believe that.
Improvising behind the bike sheds? What sort of thing were you doing?
No, I was a virgin. I was a virgin right up until I was 17 and a half. You were in those days, darling.
I was, certainly, yeah. And then at 15, you got a part in a West End show starring a chap called Johnny Brandon,
That's
didn't
right,
you?
yeah.
And you quite liked him, didn't you?
I used to watch this man every single performance sing and stand there. And I always remember towards the end, have you ever seen those movies where you had the chorus and there's always that big chorus bird, you know, the big one, it goes, hey, she's like this, and you know. And she came up to me, I was standing at the side of the stage, and she said, you're a bit funny, you are. She said, what are you standing there watching him all the time? I said, well, I think he's lovely. She said, I know. She said, but he's queer. It's no good for you. So you've got to think how long ago this was, and I said, well, that's good if he works that way and he's not well. She went, not well? So I said, well, you just said he was queer. She went, no, I mean, he goes with men.
Well, you must have been quite naive, because he was the star of a West End musical, and you didn't think he was gay. That's fantastic. Then in 1954, suddenly this happened.
Oh, I know. They kind of came up, look at those eyebrows, and they're awful.
It's not the eyebrows that I'm immediately drawn to.
But they came up almost overnight.
The eyebrows are fantastic.
Yeah.
It's not related to the Gallagher brothers.
Yes, it is.
So you were you a streetwise 16-year-old or still?
No, still a virgin. Not there. Not the other. It's the look, that special look.
You got a short part in St Trinian's movie, didn't you?
Oh, God, yes.
And then you were in your first major role was 1959, Too Hot to Handle, which I think we have a clip of here.
Oh, you haven't?
All right, turn around, please. Fine, and back again.
What about the little blonde?
Who? That with the rock and roll hairdo? Oh, Johnny, she's a baby, Johnny. She's hardly out of the Girl Scouts. We don't want trouble with the cops.
Yeah, well, the cops. Get him.
I can't believe it. I've never seen
Isn't he
it.
the worst ventriloquist you've ever seen?
Leo again, he was.
And Jane Mansfield.
Oh, what a cow she was.
Was she?
awful. And God forbid I speak about, you know, may she rest in peace. But, you know, if you're a leading lady or a leading man, nothing's nicer than to walk in on the set or, you know, in a theatre or wherever and say, like, hello, how are you? Had a good day? But not her. We weren't allowed to talk to her, and that's not nice. It doesn't bone well, does it?
Well, you couldn't have shaken hands with her anyway, because you wouldn't have got close enough. But also, the famous theatre director Joan Littlewood spotted you around that time, didn't she? And she auditioned you for Things Ain't What They Used to Be as an Irish prostitute, wasn't it? You were meant to play.
I walked up there saying, short time, mister. 5 bob a wank. 10 bob a plate, which is a blowjob in those days. Those days were there. Yes, it's all different now. And £1 for the full card trick. And they all burst out laughing. And then this one voice said, the lady's voice, where have you been all my life? And it changed my life from being a working actor in, you know, little name up in lights.
Yeah, well, different times, weren't they, then? I mean, you could go out for a quid, couldn't you? You could see a film, have a fish supper and still have, you know, enough change for a plate.
Do you not know that?
No, I've never heard that before, I've got to be honest.
Do you not know plates?
No. But in those days, of course, the Lord Chamberlain was around, wasn't he? Who used to censor things. And actually, did you know you've been mentioned in one of the official edicts from the Lord Chamberlain's office? We've actually got it here. This is true in a law book.
Right.
Said, because you're in the play, it said...
Yeah.
The part of Rosie, as played by Barbara Windsor, must not sit with her legs apart in a pose indicative of copulation.
Right.
Which is presumably why you've got your legs crossed.
Yeah. Well,
it's never been repealed.
Because I used to do a scene where I used to have to go like that, you see. Right. And I said to Joan, I said, what's copulation mean? She says, you silly cow. But I didn't know.
Charming quote.
Nice.
You seem to catch up very quickly.
I
because,
did. It was fabulous.
Well, one of the quotes attributed to you
that's the
is...
oh, God.
You said... hold on a second. When I joined Ronnie Scott's touring jazz band as a lead singer, I was the only girl amongst 20 fellas. I quickly cottoned on that the best way to prevent anyone getting the needle was to spread my favours around. That's going, son. It's a good job you weren't touring with the London Philharmonic.
I was trying to sell some books. I've exaggerated.
Around that time, of course, a lot of the sort of clientele that went to these clubs, and they were very chic-y, weren't they? They were very much the fashionable places to go. But a lot of villains were going as well. And so this was around the time that you first sort of came into contact with them. Yeah. And you were friends with the Crays. There you are with Reggie.
Yeah.
And here you are with Charlie. We actually asked for that photo. We've actually got the real photo. This is true. And they sent it to us. And you always think that these things are done very sophisticatedly, don't you, with computer programming?
Yeah.
This is the picture that they put in the paper. Okay?
Yes.
Look at this. It's just stuck on over the top. That is genuinely from the library of the newspaper.
That's how all
and we've also got a picture of you with Ronnie as well. Here's Ronnie.
There's Ronnie.
And strange enough, Eamon Holmes.
Yeah, that.
Was there a glamour to that? Was that exciting?
It was. I mean, that whole time was very, very glamorous. I mean, it's all started in the nightclubs. It wasn't like it is now. All the women looked absolutely beautiful, long frocks, you know, and lovely, and the guys all always in whistles and shirts and ties, looking great, you know.
You were mentioning about working in the clubs in Soho. We should point out, I mean, there was a sort of thriving cabaret scene then, wasn't there?
It was wonderful.
And an awful lot of famous people appeared in various shows, and a lot of them with you.
Yes.
And here's a few of them and how they remember those days.
Our dressing room, as far as I recall, doubled as a meat safe. So everybody used to get in at night and put their 16 pairs of eyelashes on and very little else. And then just as you were about to go on stage, you used to get one of the combi waiters come in and open the fridge and pick out a sort of dripping steak, which they then dribbled over as this went out.
We were doing a double number and the fella in the loud voice said, "I fancy the little bird with the big bristles." She said, "Don't you talk to me like that," she said. I said, "Yes, quite right. Don't talk about the lady like that." He said, "Well, what can you do about it dressed up there, big poof?" I said, "I'll show you what I'll do." And I jumped down and punched him.
I love that story. I think it's fantastic.
He is. Bless him. He's one. He tells a story. He always says it was a gangster. Gangsters wouldn't do that. It wasn't. It was a car salesman.
I love the idea of this car salesman going to his local pub with a black eye.
Yes.
What happened to you? And he said, "I was in a fight.
Yeah.
I got beaten up by Danny LaRue." Now, your first husband,
Ronnie Knight.
yeah, he was also on the wrong side of the law a little bit, wasn't he?
Yeah.
What did your mum make of that relationship? Because, you know, this
Mum.
is the woman who wanted you to be a foreign language telephonist,
I
remember?
know. She was very disappointed because he was married when I met him, which I didn't know about, and he had 2 children, and she was devastated. And then she went to him. She said, "Ronnie, I've worked all my life," she says, and she said, "I've got about £250 I don't need. I'll give you that and leave my babs alone." Of course, that's the one thing she shouldn't have said, because that made me want to stay with him and be with him. And I did think he was very good for me. And as I say, my agent at the time said, "He's very good for you."
Yeah, and you helped to teach him to read and write, didn't you?
Yeah, and he gets pissed off with that, and it really angers me. He used to say, "I don't understand when it's there and there." I said, "What do you mean, like THERE and THEI, there, over there belonging?" I used to sit and go over all this with him, and I thought it was great. And when I read his book, years later, he said, "I hated it. She cut my balls off when she said she taught me to read and write." But I thought that was nice.
Yeah. Well, to get some idea of your relationship with Ronnie, we spoke to Anna Karen, who a lot of people know as Olive from On the Buses. But she actually went on holiday with you, didn't she?
Oh, no, don't.
The first night we were there, we decided we were going to be really respectable, really relaxed, and we went into the bar. And there was only 1 woman and 3 men in the bar, and she was obviously a secretary away for the weekend with her boss. So anyway, we very quietly had a quiet drink, both of us, walked out, said goodnight very politely, and as we got to the door, we heard this woman say, "You know who they are, don't you? The one with the wig is Barbara Windsor, and the fat one's Anna Karen." And Barbara took off horizontally, like that. And Ronnie grabbed her round the waist, hand round the mouth, and he was actually holding her under his arm, and she was kicking and screaming. She couldn't scream because he had his kicking like this. And he walked down the corridor and then lifted his hand and said, "Say good night, Barbara." She said, "Good night." And from then on, we've called her Mighty Mouse.
And what about when Ronnie was inside? Were you totally faithful, or did you find that...
No, I wasn't. Well, you see, he always, from the day, always thought I was up to skullduggery.
Well, he wasn't far wrong, was he?
No, but he thought we were at it like nice. And in the end, I thought, oh, well, shit, if he thinks it, I might as well do it.
Yeah, that's the number of Ronnie Scott's orchestra.
Yeah, I know. But Ronnie was before, no, but really, so, and that was it. And then it became, well, that's love. Ronnie's love. And this is sex.
This is sex, yeah.
And I convinced myself that was it.
You had a fling with the actor, Thomas Powell, and there was the musical director from Oh, What a Lovely War. And then best of all, I think, you had an affair with Elton John's manager, John Reid, which is fantastic, because he's gay. That's fantastic.
He wasn't sure if he was Arthur or Martha in those days. He was great. He was a horny little bugger. He really did.
Literally a horny little bugger now.
Yeah.
Now, in 1964, you took a part in a film that absolutely changed your life.
You better just put it in your handbag, Daphne. People would pay good money to do that scene, where I had to fit this shoulder holster around her for want of a better word, and it was. I rehearsed it quite a lot. It was. I kept getting it wrong. You know what I mean?
So from then on, you couldn't do anything without the sound of this happening.
What? They showed one programme many years ago, a whole montage of all my bits and pieces, one after the other, and I hadn't realised how much I'd shown. And my mother was appalled. I overheard her one day talking to a neighbour. She said, you know, my Babs isn't really a carry-on. She's not boobs and bums. She's a Shakespearean actress. I mean, she was appalled. She never spoke to me for ages. She never would actually tell me. I used to say, what's wrong, Mum? She said, no, I don't like the way your work's going. And I can understand it, I suppose.
They weren't scandalous films, were they?
No, they were naughty but nice.
You'd have to be 14 to find them sexually exciting.
In those days, that was the age they did find it sexually exciting, wasn't it?
I think Carry On Again, Doctor, when...
Oh, God, I lost a lot of weight. I'm very skinny in this.
Yes,
I
you
was
are.
very, very, very nervous.
Fever or giddiness? Yes, I do feel a bit.
You can't beat that joke, can you, really?
I was so nervous about that scene, and I dieted. I even went on injections to lose a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And he got very angry with me, the governor, wonderful Gerald Thomas, because he said that the gag about Bristol's bouncing baby cream went for nothing. Because I didn't have anything
Millions
there.
of excited schoolboys enjoyed it. Millions of excited public school boys enjoyed watching Hattie Jakes in that as well. Well, Jim Dale was unable to resist you there, and in real life, Sid James had the same problem, didn't he? Because you did end up having an affair with him.
Yeah, yeah.
So how eventually did you come to get it together with him?
The guy who was the publicity man, he said, Tony Wells, he said, oh, do us a favour, he's given me such a bad time. He said, just once. He said, go on. He said, you've been with a couple in the orchestra. Can't you do it for me? A bit like that. So I put my hands up. And he was not talking to people like he'd always spoken to, like Kenny Connor and Peter Butterworth. He was giving everybody a bad time. And I just thought, well, I like him. I do like him. I've been with men.
And you don't want his life to be sad. There was a brilliant play about the relationship by Terry Johnson that was later filmed as Core Blimey.
It was pretty true. Funny enough, though, I hadn't realised. It made me read Kenny's diaries all the way through, Kenny Williams' diaries. I hadn't realised how much Sid and Kenny hated each other. But when I read, I thought, oh, my goodness.
Did it sort of enlighten you? I mean, is there a sense in which a third party can shine a light on your life that makes you realise things?
It actually made me realise I've always thought that my affair with Sid, funny enough, was quite an unhappy time. But funny, seeing that, I thought, no, Bart, it was good. We had a laugh, you know.
Well, one of the scenes, which I think actually did happen, was after you and Sid had broken up, and it's during the filming of Carry On Dick, I think.
Oh, right,
when he keeps redoing a scene so that he can snog you again.
Yes.
And action.
You must give up the pleasures of the flesh and leave off the path of temptation and duly cease, you little beast. Cease to follow the path of the devil.
Cut. Check that, please.
Can we go again?
What for?
I got the words wrong.
I transposed a bit.
It was fine.
I'd like to go again. I'd like to get the bloody words right.
All right, we'll go again.
Now,
that happened. That was true.
yeah. And Sid died shortly after you'd split up.
About a year later. Yeah. I remember seeing him a day after Boxing Day. Meeting him in the Dorchester one lunchtime, and I thought, I'll really dress up, put a soppy big hat on and all the rest of it. And he was saying he really didn't look well. And I said, well, this is stupid. I said, you know, let's just be great friends. We had a good time and all the rest of it. And he said, no. He said, I'm going to go to Australia and I'm going to sort my life out and I'm going to come back and that's it. We're going to be together. And I said, no, we won't. He said, well, if we're not, I'll be dead within a year. And he died about 13 months after that.
Yeah, because there's a very, very poignant scene at the end of Core Blimey when Kenneth Williams and you go back to Sid's caravan.
Yes.
And you actually take over the last few lines
yourself. I took over from the actress Samantha Sparrow, who plays me all the way through the...
That's it.
Oh, dear.
I should have called him back.
It wasn't you. It was the drink.
He could have entered his liver in the Olympics.
He had a heart attack, sweetheart. He was probably humping the ASM.
You know the last thing he said to me? He said he didn't like himself.
You're the only person I know who does. The rest of us grieve.
Very poignant, yeah. But also, we shouldn't get too maudlin, because like you actually said, that when you watched it and you were looking at the affair, you remembered it as a happy time, and you had a lot of laughs as well.
I know.
And with Kenneth Williams, of course.
Yes.
Didn't Kenneth actually go on your honeymoon?
Oh, yes.
Didn't he propose marriage to you as well, Kenneth Williams?
Kenneth did. He did. He said, how long do you think you'll be with Ronnie now? I said, oh, forever. So he said, well, if ever you do divorce him, let me know, he said, because he said, I could marry you. He said, because you clean your teeth after lunch. He said, mind you, there'd be no sex. I said, well, bugger off then.
Do you think that Kenneth Williams would have taken you up the aisle? But then, in the early 90s, I think it's fair to admit that you'd had a few lean years. You'd still been working, but not what you'd like to have been doing. And then a character called Peggy Mitchell appears in Albert Square, and a woman that the nation immediately took to their hearts.
That's more like it. Lovely.
Do you mind, sunshine? Don't she look a treat, Peggy?
Who's this?
That's Jo Warne, who's the original Peggy Mitchell, who I thought was... It is Jo Warne, isn't it? Yeah.
Who's the woman with the two nostrils playing Sam? Peggy's been known to wade in with both fists.
I know she does a lot.
She's
yes,
great.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Oh. You bitch! You cow!
Hope you all enjoyed the fireworks. Good night.
Actually, could you do me a favour? Could you slap Mark Fowler for me? But that can't have been as painful as singing with Mike Reed on his TV show, which is fantastic.
Please don't show the one which we did. I mean, I really haven't
We've got all of them, Barbara. Don't worry.
Can I say, there were videos, but they weren't. You didn't video stuff in those days.
Oh, but
you
we
wanted
did.
To forget
we
how...
videoed it. It's here. The evidence is here.
Does
Music,
Mike know?
music lovers, just look away now.
Oh, don't.
Make my bed and light the lights. I'll arrive late tonight. Blackbird, bye-bye.
The backing singers are from the Open University.
Isn't that amazing to go from back there to...
And you obviously didn't learn any lessons from your previous singing engagement. Here's Mike.
Went up to do the lottery, that was it. And me and her got up there and we didn't know the record. We'd only done it 2 or 10 days prior to this and didn't have any chance whatsoever. As a matter of fact, we were rehearsing it. Going up in the car, we had, you know, earphones on and we were both miming to it. But when we actually did the show, I thought we did great. And we come off, we was late and it was good. Yeah, it was all right. How'd you feel? Yeah, it was great, great, great. But everybody we see after that, they said the miming was bloody awful.
The more I see you, the more I want you. Somehow this feeling just grows and grows.
With every sigh, I become more mad about you. More lust with and so it goes.
Murders with him over that. I've never seen that, you know.
Haven't you?
No, I wouldn't watch. I knew we were diabolical.
Now, we've shown a few slightly dodgy moments, but to make up for it, there's obviously been lots of really, really good ones. And we should show, I think, a brilliant guest appearance you made on Dad's Army as a circus sharpshooter who was keen to join the platoon.
Right, chuck it all in there, huh? What about that, sir?
The whole idea's ridiculous.
Grab hold of that, darling. Get hold of the bins. Put them on.
Where'd you get the tash from, then?
Never mind where I got it from. You want to know everything, don't you? How's that? Transformation. Right. Shun! Stick your chest out.
I love that. I like
Also, I thought it was very good of you to give up one of your old eyebrows for that moustache. Your love life does have a happy ending. You met your new man, Scott. Here's Dale Winton.
One weekend, on the Saturday, we kind of had a loose arrangement to meet for a cup of tea. And I thought, this is a bit weird because she's not rung me. So I thought, oh, I'm passing, I'll knock on the door. Popped in, and she was in a fluster. She was like, oh, is it today, love? We're having a cup of tea. I thought, well, she knows it's today. You know, what is going on here? Failing better offer. Have I been ditched? I don't know what's happening here. And she looked kind of uncomfortable. I said, you all right, Bar? She said, yeah, I'm fine. She said, I can't stop and talk. I'll talk to you later. Well, I was off to the lottery, so I thought, well, I'll ring her tonight or tomorrow. And the next thing, well, now I find out, of course, it was the weekend of the wedding. And the next day, she got married.
So he wasn't bothered about missing the wedding?
No,
Did he go on the honeymoon? And what is it that Scott gives you that, you know, that's different from your other
I tell you something, I've always wanted to do. I've got to do everything. And I know it irritates a lot of the guys in my life, but having said that, they quite like me to run around like a tit in a trance for them, you know. I've got used to Scott doing for me, and it's really good. He's an old soul, and I'm really so happy. It's the best.
Well, we've had a look back at your life, and we're going to play out with what we consider to be the worst moment of it. It's a celebrity tribute by Keith Chegwin and Vanessa Feltz.
Oh,
yeah. On the BBC Hall of Fame, they're singing Things Ain't What They Used to Be. Yeah.
Please.
Now, please, send your kids to bed now.
Yes, please.
Throw a sheet over the budgie's cage. But before that, ladies and gentlemen, a big hand for the wonderful Barbara Windsor.
We take the train to Cali, 'cause things ain't what they used to be. It's all changed. We love our beef and brisket,
But now we just can't risk it, 'cause
things ain't what they used to be. We used to behave, think ourselves brave,